Hey guys, it's summertime in New England, and I had wanted to do this video back in April, but the pool is a little cold, and I don't want to sink Titanic in the kitchen sink. I didn't think that would be appropriate. So if you can see behind me, we got the pool, and we're going to do a video before we do the actual demonstration of the ship sinking. I'm going to do a little bit of an unboxing and research and talk to you a little bit about the model. And then we're going to come out and we're going to test the theory. We're going to see how realistic it is. Okay, so I got it in the mail, and I just wanted to open it to make sure it wasn't broke, because, again, it says fragile. If it's so fragile, then why do they ship it in an envelope? I don't understand. But anyway, this is how it came, and I opened it up just to make sure nothing was wrong with it. So, again, this is a 3D, what is this, 3D roller? The Roller 3D. And they must have scanned in the original piece back in the 90s, I think it came out. But this is not that one. So, just to be clear on this, guys, this is not the original. This is just a repop that somebody did and 3D printed it. So you can see the iceberg, and I thought it was interesting. We get a package of Sour Patch Kids watermelon fun-size candies. I guess that this was meant to appeal to the children, not the children that are approaching middle age. Okay, so when we take it out, you can see it's wrapped in bubble wrap, and I see a couple of the funnels that are actually in the bag, loose, and that's everything in here. So I hope the other funnels are somewhere to be found. Alright, so let's go ahead and open it up. First thing we notice is the base. It's actually pretty nice. Up, and I see two of the funnels that are already on the ship. So let's see what it comes with. So we've got the Roller 3D. I guess this is a bookmark. And you can see the back. Thank you for your purchase. It's a 3D print shop. And what else we got? This is a little advertisement for it. The Titanic Submersible model, made in USA in Oklahoma. You can see the Arthur Anderson. Of course, the significance with that is the Arthur M. Anderson was along on that night with the Emmett Fitzgerald, but that's a totally different video. So we got the little advertisement that comes with it, and lastly, oh, this is a good touch. Look, you can see the flags. Is this glued or scotch taped? It's taped to the packet, but look, you can see the United States flag, and you can see the British flag that's going to go on the back of the stern. So I guess these would be considered the instructions. So your 13-inch scale model floats in the water with the hatch closed. Open the hatch with a fingernail at the bottom, starboard. Starboard bow of the ship, it will hang on so you don't lose it. The ship will take on water slowly until it fills the hull. And don't forget to use the cranes when you unload the lifeboats, and watch for the propellers. There she goes, breaking apart and sinking into the bottom of the ocean. Well, we're not going to be in the ocean. I wanted to show you guys this back in April, but I didn't want to put her in a sink. I figured that it'd be disrespectful enough to be doing this as a child's toy. I want to do it to simulate and see how accurate it's going to be. We're going to actually do it in the pool today. And this is the Roller 3D, where history and technology meet. So that's those are the instructions, and this is the paperwork that comes with this. Again, it's got a little floating iceberg. So let's actually take a look at the ship. The bottom, you can see R.M.S. Titanic by Roller 3D. And again, looking at the base, we'll cut the base out, which is really a nice touch, because it didn't show a base in the listing, so this is pretty nice. Again, so it's plastic. And lastly, let's take the ship out and we'll put the funnels back on. So what I think happened was the funnels probably just fell off during shipping, because you can see the first two funnels are on. Unless they're meant to come off, which I hope not, going into the pool trying to find these after. So we'll put these in. These might be meant to come off as she's sinking. I think we might end up gluing them, just because I don't want them to come off. So basically you can see the ship, and basically she's going to break apart. Now I just got to figure out, see the little door that's over here? See the bottom where the star is, where the bilge keels are, and hopefully you guys can see that. So the mechanism goes in like this. When the water fills, it lifts up a little bit. And then, just like it did in the sinking, this section will droop down from the weight of the aft end being out of the water. It'll come back down. This one will go. It'll fall 2.5 miles and then plow into the seabed and land upright. The stern section will go back up in the air, finally fill with water, pushing all the air out, and eventually disappear from sight. But what this part is going to do is it's actually going to spin, and when it hits the seabed, it would have been rotating, and the way it implodes, it just totally makes this section unrecognizable. The walls blow out, all the stuff, it's a real mess. You can see the engines, the boilers in it, but again, when it goes down, I know the funnels didn't stay on the ship, but I don't want to lose the funnels, so we're gonna glue these on. Let's make sure we got the right funnel. Yeah, they're all the same. Okay, even though the there we are. So I wanted the smokestacks, and I know when the ship sank, the smokestacks fall off while they have in the all of the simulations, but put that cardboard aside. So what I want to do with you guys is we'll do a little bit of the what to expect. So let's put her back together. again, there's a little piece in here that hooks on and it goes together, and it doesn't unhook until this section it has to go up and then down, and that's how it's going to break apart. But before I put her on the base, and that cold night in April 1912, let's put this over here. So we have the lookouts right up here in the crow's nest, and they're looking, and the problem that they're having is that there's no moon on that night. And to add to the problem, the water was completely calm. I think it was described as pond-like, not even a ripple. So one of the things when you can see an iceberg in the distance, especially at night, is you can see the water breaking on the edges around it. You can see that, but if the water is dead calm, you can't see that. So Frederick Fleet is a crew member that's up in the crow's nest. They actually spot the iceberg. By that time, it's pretty close to the ship. So he gives the order, iceberg dead ahead. Okay, so what First Officer Murdoch does is he orders the ship hard to port. So with the problem of a ship that's over 880 feet long, you can go hard to port, which is good to avoid the iceberg, but what you're not going to do is eventually it's so big you're going to hit. So when he gets to about here, he gives the order to go hard to starboard. And what that's going to do is it's going to bring the rear end towards the port side, and it'll make it actually maneuver around the iceberg. At least that was the plan. But the rudder on Titanic was actually smaller than what the ship for a ship of her size actually called for. So they did narrowly, the iceberg just glanced. And one of the things that happened was, what you don't see is there was a section of the iceberg that went on the bottom of the ship. And as she passed, there was sections that the hull came up and ran along the bottom and was damaged on the bottom as well. And another, to add to the problem, when they ordered full stop, Murdoch brought everything to check to make, to assess the damage. Well, Captain Smith had ordered her underway again, and he ordered her to go full speed. And the problem is when you're going through the water and you've got damage to the ship, when you go full speed ahead or you run the engines on high, you're just forcing more and more water in. So that was probably the worst thing to do, was to order her full ahead. But anyway, that was a little microcosm of what happened with the actual damage that occurred to the ship. And again, the damage didn't appear catastrophic, but knowing Titanic's interior, she had watertight bulkheads. And any one of the 6 bulkheads, if they were flooded, she would be able to stay afloat. The problem was the damage filled up the water, and the water filled the first compartment, but it didn't stop. It actually was able to go over the bulkhead walls and then fill the next, and then the next, and then the next. And you're talking about millions of gallons of water, and it was just pulling the ship down till eventually it got to the 6th bulkhead. And when it was about here, there was so much weight that's when the aft end it breaks. And then you see the stern kind of right itself again, but then eventually the stern goes up and then goes out of sight, starting the 20-minute, 2.5-mile plunge to the bottom of the Atlantic, until she would sit undisturbed until Dr. Ballard would find her. So, looking at this model, I mean, it is pretty heavy, pretty weighty for this little thing, because this is probably what, 1/900 scale-ish. let's look at some of the detail. You can see the bridge wings. You can see the little hatches on the forecastle deck. You can see the cranes for the anchors, even though there are no anchors. Oh yeah, here they are. I guess that's the anchor. She doesn't have the bull nose, but you can see the capstans and the anchor crane in the front. And then you can see the cargo cranes in front of the bridge area. And then we got the first smokestack. You can see the collapsible lifeboats on either side. And we got the grand staircase. That would put the Marconi room somewhere in this vicinity. And then you can see, going back, you can see the compass tower, or the compass platform. Going back, you can see where the aft grand staircase would be. And then you can see the second class entrance would be over here. We got the lifeboats on the sides, and looking at the aft end. Again, it's pretty detailed for such a little kit. You can see the docking platform at the back, and you can see all the last 6 cargo cranes in the back with the aft mast. So, yeah, this is the model from the 3D roller. So let's see what she looks like when she's on the stand. Well, actually, let's take a look at the stand itself. So we've got Titanic, 1912. Yep, it's all 3D printed. You could tell by looking at the lines. Painted copper. Nice little base. Okay, and it has these little pins. So let's put it back together and we'll put it on the base. I'll take you off of the stand. Let's take a look at her port side. Again, looking at the forecastle deck, you can see the forward cargo hatch. They go to the well deck. You see the bridge. You get the lifeboats. Going back where the grand staircase would be, and the Marconi room. And then going aft, you can see the compass tower. And we go back to the aft grand staircase where the brake would be. And we have the second class entrance, the aft end. You can see the cargo cranes, the docking platform, and the aft end of the ship. You can see what appears to be some of the straking, the portholes. Coming back around. So, let me show you guys the starboard side, and I'll show you that little area where you slowly open it and you actually let some of the water in through this area. And eventually what this is going to do is it's going to fill these compartments up in the front, at the bow, and eventually the weight is going to be too much and the forward part of the ship will be broken off, and then eventually the stern will follow. But with that all being said, let's actually go. Let me turn her around for you so you can see the base. So that's what comes with this. We have the little ship. She's got her funnels, and again, the funnels are meant to come out. So if you're going to take this to the ocean or the beach or a lake or something, you might want to be careful, because you might want to glue them into place just so you'd be able to find all the pieces again. It does come with the iceberg as well. It comes with the instructions, It comes with a little advertisement, and it comes with some candy to keep you entertained while you play with the Titanic. So why don't we go over to the pool now, and we're going to actually do a demonstration, and we're going to see how this works. Okay, so we're out at the pool, and we'll put the iceberg in, and we're going to put in the ship. Oh, before I forget, I got to open up the compartment. Okay, so we got to take this piece out so the water can actually go in. And we put the iceberg. So Frederick Fleet would have seen the iceberg dead ahead, but it was going to be on that side. So we're going to pick up where she just hit the iceberg. And oh, she broke in half. There goes the stern. The stern on its own is still floating. So we have the front part, and the stern doesn't want to sink. All right. Here it goes. All right, let's do that again. Yeah, she's breaking apart, and there goes the bow. And just like the real ship, she landed face up, and there goes the stern. Interesting, the stern didn't spin like she did on the actual ship. But that one's a little bit better. That simulation is a little bit better. So my friends, I hope you enjoyed this little demonstration on this little model. I don't know if it's still available. If it is, I'll put a link in the description so you guys can get it. But as usual, I thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.